You're listening to the Okanagan Reader, where we present readings of short stories and other works that have been released under a Creative Commons license by their creators. They can be shared freely as long as the shared instances attribute their creator and carry the same licenses. Today's reading is Carnation, Lily, Lily, Rose, a short story in the collection called Stranger Things Happen by Kelly Link. And now, Carnation, Lily, Lily, Rose, Part 1. Dear Mary, if that is your name, I bet you'll be pretty surprised to hear from me. It really is me, by the way, although I have to confess at the moment that not only can I not seem to keep your name straight in my head, Laura, Susie, Odile, but I seem to have forgotten my own name. I plan to keep trying different combinations. Joe loves Lola. Willie loves Sookie. Henry loves you, sweetie. Georgia? Honey Pie, darling, do any of those seem right to you? All last week I felt like something was going to happen. A sort of bees and ants feeling. Something was going to happen. I taught my classes and came home and went to bed all week waiting for the thing that was going to happen, and then, on Friday, I died. One of the things I seem to have misplaced is how, or maybe I mean why. It's like the names. I know that we lived together in a house on a hill in a small, comfortable city for 9 years, that we don't have kids, except once, almost, and that you're a terrible cook. Oh, my darling Coraline? Coralie. And so was I, and we ate out whenever we could afford to. I taught at a good university. Princeton, Berkeley, Notre Dame. I was a good teacher, and my students liked me. But I can't remember the name of the street we lived on, or the author of the last book I read, or your last name, which is also my name, or how I died. It's funny, Sarah, but the only 2 names I know for sure are Lulie Bellows, the girl who beat me up in 4th grade, and your cat's name. I'm not going to put your cat's name down on paper just yet. We were going to name the baby Beatrice. I just remembered that. We were going to name her after your aunt, the one that doesn't like me. Didn't like me. Did she come to the funeral? I've been here for 3 days, and I'm trying to pretend that it's just a vacation, like when we went to that island in that country. Santorini? Great Britain? The one with all the cliffs. The one with the hotel with the bunk beds and little squares of pink toilet paper like handkerchiefs. It had seashells in the window, too, didn't it, that were transparent like bottle glass. They smelled like bleach. It was a very nice island. No trees. You said that when you died, you hoped heaven would be an island like that. And now I'm dead, and here I am. This is an island, too, I think. There is a beach, and down on the beach is a mailbox, where I am going to post this letter. Other than the beach, the mailbox, there is the building in which I sit and write this letter. It seems to be a perfectly pleasant resort hotel, with no other guests, no receptionist, no host, no events coordinator, no bellboy. Just me. There is a television set, very old-fashioned, in the hotel lobby. I fiddled the antenna for a long time, but never got a picture, just static. I tried to make images. People come out of the static. It looked like they were waving at me. My room is on the 2nd floor. It has a sea view. All the rooms here have views of the sea. There is a desk in my room and a good supply of plain, waxy white paper and envelopes in one of the drawers. Laurel? Maria? Gertrude? I haven't gone out of sight of the hotel yet, Lucille, because I am afraid that it might not be there when I get back. Yours truly, you know who. The dead man lies on his back on the hotel bed, his hands busy and curious, stroking his body up and down as if it didn't really belong to him at all. One hand cups his testicles, the other tugs hard at his erect penis. His heels push against the mattress, and his eyes are open, and his mouth. He is trying to say someone's name. Outside, the sky seems much too close, made out of some gray stuff that only grudgingly allows light through. The dead man has noticed that it never gets any lighter or darker, but sometimes the air begins to feel heavier, and then stuff falls out of the sky. Fist-sized lumps of whitish-gray doughy matter. It falls until the beach is covered and immediately begins to dissolve. The dead man was outside the first time the sky fell. Now he waits inside until the beach is clear again. Sometimes he watches television, although the reception is poor. The sea goes up and back the beach, sucking and curling around the mailbox at high tide. There is something about it that the dead man doesn't like much. It doesn't smell like salt the way a sea should. Cara? Jasmine? It smells like wet upholstery, burnt fur. Dear May, April, Ianthe? My room has a bed with thin, limp sheets and an amateurish painting of a woman sitting under a tree. She has nice breasts, but a peculiar expression on her face for a woman in a painting, in a hotel room. Even in a hotel like this, she looks disgruntled. I have a bathroom with hot and cold running water, towels, and a mirror. I looked in the mirror for a long time, but I didn't look familiar. It's the first time I've ever had a good look at a dead person. I have brown hair, receding at the temples, brown eyes, and good teeth, white, even, and not too large. I have a small mark on my shoulder, Celeste, where you bit me when we were making love that last time. Did you somehow realize it would be the last time we made love? Your expression was sad. Also, I seem to recall angry. I remember your expression now, Eliza. You glared up at me, without blinking, and when you came you said my name, and although I can't remember my name, I remember you said it as if you hated me. We hadn't made love for a long time. I estimate my height to be about 5 feet 11 inches, and although I am not unhandsome, I have an anxious, somewhat fixed expression. This may be due to circumstances. I was wondering if my name was by any chance Roger or Timothy or Charles. When we went on vacation, I remember there was a similar confusion about names, although not ours. We were trying to think of one for her. I mean for Beatrice. Petruchia? Solange? We wrote them all with long pieces of stick on the beach to see how they looked. We started with the plain names like Jane and Susan and Laura. We tried practical names like Polly and Meredith and Hope. And then we became extravagant. We dragged our sticks through the sand and produced entire families of scowling little girls named Gudrun, Jezebel, Jerusalem, Zadinia, and Zarilla. How about Lulia? I said. I knew a girl named Lulie Bellows once. Your hair was all snarled around your face, stiff with salt. You had about a zillion freckles. You were laughing so hard you had to prop yourself up with your stick. You said, that sounded like a made-up name. Love, you know who. The dead man is trying to act as if he is really here in this place. He is trying to act in a normal and appropriate fashion, as much as possible. He is trying to be a good tourist. He hasn't been able to fall asleep in the bed, although he has turned the painting to the wall. He is not sure that the bed is a bed. When his eyes are closed, it doesn't seem to be a bed. He sleeps on the floor, which seems more floor-like than the bed seems bed-like. He lies on the floor with nothing over him and pretends that he isn't dead. He pretends that he is in bed with his wife and dreaming. He makes up a nice dream about a party where he has forgotten everyone's name. He touches himself. Then he gets up and sees that the white stuff has fallen out of the sky and is dissolving on the beach in little clumps of it heaped around the mailbox like foam. Dear Elspeth, Deborah, Frederica, things are getting worse. I know that if I could just get your name right, things would get better. I told you that I'm on an island, but I'm not sure that I am. I'm having doubts about my bed and the hotel. I'm not happy about the sea or the sky either. The things that have names that I'm sure of, I'm not sure that they are those things. If you understand what I'm saying. Mallory? I'm not sure I'm still breathing either. When I think about it, I do. I only think about it because it's too quiet when I'm not. Did you know, Allison, that up in those mountains, the Berkshires, the altitude gets too high, and then real people, live people, forget to breathe also? There's a name for when they forget. I forget what the name is. But if the bed isn't a bed, and the beach isn't a beach, then what are they? When I look at the horizon, there almost seem to be corners. When I lay down, the corners on the bed receded, like the horizon. Then there is the problem about the mail. Yesterday I simply slipped the letter into a plain envelope and slipped the envelope unaddressed into the mailbox. This morning the letter was gone, and when I stuck my hand inside and then my arm, the sides of the box were damp and sticky. I inspected the backside and discovered an open panel. When the tide rises, the mail goes out to sea. So I really have no idea if you, Pamela, or for that matter if anyone, is reading this letter. I tried dragging the mailbox further up the beach. The waves hissed and spit at me. A wave ran across my foot, cold and furry and black, and I gave up. So I will simply have to trust the local mail system. Hoping you get this soon, you know who. The dead man goes for a walk along the beach. The sea keeps its distance, but the hotel stays close behind him. He notices that the tide retreats when he walks towards it, which is good. He doesn't want to get his shoes wet. If he walked into the sea, would it part for him, like that guy in the Bible? Onan? He is wearing his second-best suit, the one he wore for interviews and weddings. He figures it's either the suit that he died in, or else the one that his wife buried him in. He has been wearing it ever since he woke up and found himself on the island, disheveled and sweating, his clothing wrinkled, as if he had been wearing it for a long time. He takes his suit and his shoes off only when he is in his hotel room. He puts them back on to go outside. He goes for a walk along the beach. His fly is undone. The little waves slap at the dead man. He can see teeth under that water, in the glassy black walls of the larger waves, the waves farther out to sea. He walks a fair distance, stopping frequently to rest. He tires easily. He keeps to the dunes. His shoulders are hunched, his head down. When the sky begins to change, he turns around. The hotel is right behind him. He doesn't seem at all surprised to see it there. All the time he has been walking, he has had the feeling that just over the next dune someone is waiting for him. He hopes that maybe it is his wife, but on the other hand, if it were his wife, she'd be dead too, and if she were dead, he could remember her name.